Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my Crisis of the Confederation tutorial video. I'm your lovely host, Galvin, and today we're going to be going over the basics of how to play Crisis of the Confederation, a full conversion mod for CK2 that brings it into space. I've decided to pick the Pirate King Diego of Hades, so I can show off a lot of the features. I feel like that will be a good thing. I'm not going to go into the story or anything about that. For that, you're going to have to watch my regular series. So, here we are. We start as what is effectively a duke, a pirate king, which is a petty pirate kingdom. We also, of course, have our couple of vassals here, one of whom is actually modified with the Odin Mach 1 cybernetic eye. We have FN 664 here, and that's going to be actually our first conquest. So, initially, you'll notice that each of these star systems, in this case Hades, FN 940, 1237, whatever you want, is basically the equivalent of a county. The simplest way to put it. Each one of these is a county. And some star systems are connected via jump gates. You'll find actually most of them are, like if you get closer to the center of the galaxy. However, out here on the frontier, the rules are a bit different. Whilst I definitely have a vast quantity of soldiers I can call upon, I also have the capacity to raise fleets from my various things. As you'll begin to notice, man, that's a really weird place to put the fleets. Basically, instead of... Ooh, my lover. Marry your lover. There. So, I just had to marry, because she offered me to marry, but I didn't want a matrilineal marriage. That actually just changed our marriage. Interesting. So there's a system of lovers and all sorts of other things. So, now I'm fucked. I'm in a matrilineal marriage. Great. Can I, like, behead her? Done. There. Arrange a marriage. There we go. See, that fixes things. Do it the old-fashioned CK way. Alright, so I've got these 15 boats here, which are basically, I believe they're called tunneler ships. So, what we can do with tunneler ships is, of course, we can put our levies on them and do that. And we need to. We actually do. Because, you see, whilst we declare war here, we can't simply walk there. We need to go onto these boats, because there is no jump gate to connect us. Also, correct me if I'm wrong, there is a way through the nebulas. Okay. It's just kind of really weird. Oh wow, you have 416. Your friend Amanda has taken on the life of a daring, outgoing... Let's tell a film. I'm sorry, Amanda. Yeah, damn it, this is... so, I guess I can use this time to explain the difference here between lovers and all that. If I go to relations here, there's various events that will give you lovers. People will simply confess their love to you, you can confess your love to them, and so on and etc. And this can give you a series of lovers. In fact, I've had multiple men confess their love to me. Yep, there is totally homosexuality in this game. Get used to it. And, so one of the things you do is if you have a lover, you can marry them. And like so, like I did before. Now you can either take prestige or some money. I'll take the money. So that's pretty simple how it works. And now we have that all lined up. Here's the problem. I don't know if we have enough soldiers to pull this off. Yeah, I'm not feeling so good about the whole soldiers thing. I don't know if we have enough. We've gotta have enough, right? I hope so. Well, if I had some leaders. We got the best. Damn, we lost. And actually, all of our troops just exploded. Fuck. What the hell are you doing here? I don't know. Yeah, sure, I'll become an athlete. Similar to CK2. There's that. So I just got my ass kicked. God fucking damn it. And there's no mercenaries out here, or sorry, PMCs that I can use. Darn. Well, that's I suppose that's the thing. That's the basics of moving around in combat in this game. Unless there's a jump gate, you're gonna need fleets to move around, unfortunately. They've also completely changed over infantry and that. Where you see you have fighters, bombers, and they all have different values. For example, they have a defense value of 20 in whatever the replacement for the melee phase is. And yeah, apparently. Troop transports. There's also varying sizes of ships, including, I believe, they're combat drones, destroyers, cruisers, and special units vary, but they're basically battleships and dreadnoughts. So yeah, we got our ass handed to us here. Fucker. Take your money. Defeated. We will get you, Chang. We will get you. Alright, well, you know what? Since we're space pirates, we can loot. So perhaps we should just go burn some solar systems down. 'Cause that's a thing, right? Though finding solar systems to burn down out here on the fucking outer rim is pretty tricky. Hey, there we go. Alright, so we have places we can go to loot and burn things down. Similarly to CK2, you can simply do that if you so choose. Now, let's go over some of the bits of the map here. Oh wait, no, I can't show you the religion. Because that will crash the game. I believe. Possibly. Yeah, don't mess over anything in that religion tab, or you will just simply crash the game. So let's have a look at religions here. In this game, religions have been changed into political ideologies. You have your separatist religion, or ideology, whereas in closer towards the Terran Confederation itself, you have the Federalists and the Republicans, the two primary parties. So we also have the Neo-Socialists, which, unsurprisingly, of course, culture various Russian cultures. It shouldn't surprise anyone that Neo-Socialists are all Russians. Yeah. Neo-Socialists. When Russia first began settling in the Centauri Reach, many Russian communists fled to Earth for one place not yet corrupted by capitalism: space. Neo-Socialists, the modern heirs to the various socialist and communist movements of the 20th century. In theory, they support democracy and autonomy, but are often willing to sacrifice these things in the name of the greater good. So, great. Fucking communist Russians in space. Da, comrade? We also have things like the Neo-Feudalists. I don't really understand. To first lot, some believe that the failures of the Confederation to prove that the Enlightenment itself was a mistake. Others simply prefer the romance of feudal titles to stark military ranks. Either way, they support the independent decentralization of autocratic governments. We have the Biodirectionalists. Oh, you're a Neo-Feudalist. You're all Neo-Feudalists. God damn it. Biodirectionalist. Trying to find someone who is... There we go. Transhumanist. Modern day philosophical sense of the earliest 20th century, eugenics. Although they themselves would deny such a connection fiercely, rather than directing human evolution by means of forced sterilization and genocide, they seek to improve human genome through more humane means, cloning and genetic engineering. Whereas on the opposite side, we have the cyberneticists. The cyberneticists seek to transcend the limitations of their humanity by using cybernetics to become something greater than themselves. Yeah. So that's pretty neat. Of course, we have the separatists, which is the driving force. The notion of a single pan-human government is inherently flawed, and that Earth's colonies should be allowed to seek their own futures. They support free and independent democracies. There's also the Pilgrims, When humanity follows many different religions, nearly all of them share one vital commodity. They all originated on old Earth. Across the galaxy are billions of colonists who find themselves compelled to travel to holy places on Earth. And over time, the infrastructure has evolved to support them. The largest organization responsible for the transportation of pilgrims, simply known as the Pilgrimage. Basically, pilgrims are the last remaining religious people. And there's also the space pirate religion. Like regular pirates, but in space. This is not a complicated concept. Space pirates can freely raid non-pirate systems and have the unique ability to navigate hyperspace within nebulas. Oh, so these are the equivalent of rivers. I actually didn't know that. Only space pirates can navigate through nebulae. How interesting. That's actually pretty cool. So, if you're not a space pirate, you have to enter the nebulas through here. That's pretty cool. I was not aware of this. Then there's this nebula here. Good for space pirates, too. But, yeah, and we have the asterisk, which is, again, just some political thing. Movement began when the first great wave of space explorers returned to Earth and found themselves unable to integrate with ordinary life. Asterisks support the implementation of spacer values, loyalty to your crew, honesty and integrity in your dealings with others, responsibility for your subordinates, and the absolute and unquestioning obedience to your superiors, over everyday life. They support highly, centralized autocratic dictatorships, but the process a distaste in Terrans but possess a distaste for Terrans in particular. So those are the general religions, and if we have a look here through cultures, we have Terran Russian, sorry, East Afro-Angalians, Aganis, and basically a lot of weird Earth human cultures. As this is space realm, it shouldn't surprise too many people. So we have Hispano-Aryan, you know, Russo-Edomite, Russo-Strugatskite, Anglo-Frontiersman. So yeah, that's the general gist of it, and it ultimately plays just similarly to CK2. There's also a completely different set of laws that I'd like to show off, so we're going to reload quickly to somebody who can actually show you these laws. I want to show a bit off of how combat works, so I needed to start with Space Pirate, as nobody else has the ability to do that. Here we are, back at the awesome little title screen. So this time, we'll play as CEO President Morgan. Alright, so here we are in Sector Sol, which contains Sol and Alpha Centauri. Culture, Iranian. Wow, that paints an interesting thing there. That paints something interesting there. Sol is primarily populated by Iranians. We have, of course, Earth, the Moon, planet Mars, planet Ceres, planet Titan, planet Ganymede, and Europa. Surprised Venus isn't on that list, but hey, whatever. Alpha Centauri 2, Alpha Centauri 3, Alpha Centauri 3b. Alright, so basically your simple stuff. Money is just wealth. The home world. So, this is basically Space Constantinople. Looks about right. Again, similarly, this is the holy site for practically everything. Well, for a lot of things. Alpha Centauri, among other things. So, now, let's look at the laws a bit here. We have multiple crown laws to go over. Centralization, coalition, confederation, federation, hegemony, and unitary state. So, we have none. Yeah, I should probably explain senates too, shit. Anyway, so that's basically levies in a nutshell. Then we have military government. Hereditary office, military commands are hereditary and may be passed down from parent to child. Elected offices, elected from among their subordinates, or by citizens of the territory they defend. Appointed. Military offices are appointed by their immediate superiors. The appointment basically works like this. When somebody who's under appointment elective, that's federal elective, it's when someone who's appointed. I think the Tarka are primarily appointed, right? Yeah, appointment. Basically, you'll notice that the liege is the heir. Upon death, the title returns to liege to be handed out again. That's the gist of appointment. It's very good for the liege, actually. However, you can luckily appoint your successor yourself, and generally, unless the liege doesn't like you, you can get away with it. So you can play it, but the trick is you have to remain on your liege's good side, which makes things interesting. It's definitely very tricky to play appointment. Gotta be careful with that. Term length, this is the distance between elections every year. 4 years, 6 years, 10 years, or life. Legislator, the existence and authority of the legislative branch of governments. None. Rules by decree. And strong. So, this ties into the fact that there's actually a Senate. And I wish I could tell you how the Senate worked, because the problem is it's not fully implemented yet. But basically, it restricts ruler power. And I really wish I could give you more info on it, other than things like this. And also, you have like 9 families for some reason. I don't know, but there are a lot of families. Let's see. In addition to this, we have premiership, which I don't know what does. I wish I could tell you. And finally, civil order. Weak. The government has little de facto control over its territory, and local governors are largely autonomous. Vassals may wage private wars within the realm, and local militias cannot be relied upon for support. Strong civil order. The government is strong and steady. Vassals cannot wage autonomous wars within the realm for fear of swift and strong reprisal from the capital, which, 1, allows you to have a minimum levy as set by your centralization, and in addition, gives what's known in CK2 as the King's Peace, that thing you get at medium crown authority that prevents vassals from attacking each other. In short, this is probably the very thing that you should probably get first. Also, you'll notice that, interestingly enough, the ability to do a lot of decisions are tied to your religion, or, well, your political ideology's moral authority, which is pretty neat. So, this one I can actually... So, the moral authority, in order to pass certain laws, I actually need to have certain moral authority to the religion. So, 25% there... and various other things. In addition to this, you can change succession laws. There's new ones, democratic elective, which is interesting. This this changes how there's various electives. There's federal elective, federal council consisting of the previous ruler, their immediate superior, and all major regional governors. In practice, the new ruler will almost always be a member of the electoral council or a relative of the previous ruler. This is basically feudal elective that we once knew. Dynastic elective is that crazy Irish thing I can't remember the thing for. Tanistary, which basically rulers are elected by a federal council, but only members of a specific ruling family are eligible for election. Appointment, I talked about that before. On death, all titles revert back to the liege. And democratic elective. Rulers are elected by popular vote. I wish I could give more insight into this, but I think for that I'd have to go over to like something over here, right? You're democratic elective or something, right? Federal. There's various different electives. Ultimogeniture, I guess that's why that's a kid and a clone, no less. So, what were you? Federal. Yeah. Good luck finding, friggin' a democracy in space. You just are not gonna find one. Yeah, no. There ain't no democracies in space, boy. Oh, hey. Of course, the socialists. Dimitri Uchana. As you can see, this is just a simple person from his court. Many people recognize it as that crazy thing that, you know, like barons use. And it's really not something I'd ever recommend a player having, because it just literally means a random person from your court succeeds you. And remember, this is still CK2 rules, so if your dynasty is thrown off the throne, you do lose. So in short, democratic elective sucks. Don't ever, under any circumstances, do democratic elective. Alright, I shouldn't have to inform you of any more than that. Alright, that about covers governments. Ultimageniture, Primogeniture, and Seniority, Gavelkind should all be things you are well aware of by now. Yep. Alright. Militarily. We have PMCs that replace mercenary companies, which is fine. You have your regular army levies, you have liege levies, and you have different retinues. Destroyers, fighters, bombers, combat drones are your 4 basic retinues. And, yeah. Unfortunately, I'm trying to figure out, how I can... Like, are there really no... Yeah, we have battle cruisers, destroyers, galleys. I'm trying to think, is there anywhere, there's a few PMCs that do. I wanted to show off special units. Dreadnoughts, for example. I don't know if there are any other kinds of special units. I haven't seen any, but yeah, dreadnoughts. Looks like that's it. Calvin, what are some of the decisions you can have as a bio-something ideology? No, you can't turn into a furry, if that's what you're asking. I'm pretty certain. Improve public order decision. Ah, yeah, here we go. So this is the effect of having a Senate, I believe. Is you can't actually change crown laws normally. But you can do it through decisions, I believe. So. Any war enemy is not President Morgan. Interesting. There's also a lot of new things. The decree menu. Dissolve the Senate. Well, shouldn't need too much to say exactly what that does. Gee, I wonder. Well, it pisses a lot of people off. And you get crisis. Dissolved the Senate. So, I actually need to open up my tab here for the README. Because we need to talk a bit about some other things. Let's see, the Senate, coups and civil wars. Wait, is there, did I miss? Yeah, constitutional crisis is the one I want to start at. Should the ruler of a nation and the rest of its government have an irreconcilable disagreement, this will trigger a constitutional crisis. In a constitutional crisis, every local governor will have the ability to take sides, either for or against the ruler. If the anti-ruler faction is eliminated, then the ruler is victorious and whatever they were trying to do is accomplished. Otherwise, the crisis will last until the ruler backs down or loses power. During a constitutional crisis, the organs of the state are paralyzed. It's impossible to enact new laws, and revolt risk will steadily rise throughout the state. It is imperative that the situation be resolved as quickly as possible. One easy way to fire a constitutional crisis, I'll give you a hint. It's dissolving the Senate. That will just flat out piss everybody off and give you a constitutional crisis. Right there. Also destroys your moral authority by 10% for 50 years. It's a little rough. Yeah, you get constitutional crisis at the top there. Close decrees. Cybernetics menu. Apparently I got no cybernetics that I can do. Military officers menu, anything? Nope. Oh, apparently I can also construct merchant ships. Good to know. Or conscript merchant ships. Good to know. And next up are coups. The coup is a new kind of plot that allows you to attempt to seize power over your liege's state without going through that messy war bit first. Coups allow you to conspire with various power figures in the state. When the coup is initiated, your followers will take action. Should they manage to capture the ruler, your coup will automatically succeed, otherwise you will be forced to choose between surrendering or starting a civil war. There are 2 kinds of coups, justified and unjustified. Justified coup requires one of the following. The ruler is a space pirate. You can just coup space pirates. How about we actually reload as one of the vassals and see about doing a coup on Morgan? While I read this off here. The ruler's ideology has less than 80% moral authority, that's pretty high, and there's an ongoing constitutional crisis. Yeesh, that's rough. So, pretty much, if you're doing a constitutional crisis, there's legitimate coups. Alright. So, we'll play as Zeneke Notaya, a vassal. Oh no, can't play as him. Are they all republics? They're all republics. Those dirty bastards. Alright, that makes things trickier. Get on to sectors. To Yeni, Istanbul. Why? There's a lot of republics, and it's really hard to actually find people you can play as sometimes. It does kind of suck, but... There we go. Someone who works. Alright. The ruler's ideology is less than 50% moral authority, and the ruler has usurped at least one title from you, and you have a strong claim to the state. The ruler's ideology is less than 25% moral authority, and you have a weak claim to the state. The ruler's ideology is less than 10% moral authority. So if at any point you have less than 10% moral authority, anybody can coup you for any reason. Based on your political ideology alone. Apparently, since we're at war with Morgan, there's no coup that we can start, which sucks. Unjustified coup is more difficult to gather support for and will reduce moral authority if it is successful. A justified coup gathers more support more easily and may actually improve moral authority. Outside of that, that's the general gist of it. I wish I could show you the coup mechanics, unless it's in here. Nope. I believe that's just full factions that you need to have. Is there any... I'm trying to think, is there anyone who isn't actually currently at war with Morgan that I could be under work with here? Which I don't think there is. I don't think you can coup while at war or whatever. So, no dice on that. Actually, yeah, that'll work. Let's go play as a count under a space pirate. That gives me the ability to do a justified coup. So we'll play around a bit with that before we end this all off. I hope I've explained things. Also, in addition, the Twitch chat, which I'm currently streaming this to, may now pose any question that they so have about this mod and the mechanics therein. You can play as a Space Republic. It's just a little... it's complicated. So now we should be able to launch a coup, or attempt to gather support for a coup. No? Really? One, you're a space pirate, so... I should be able to launch a coup. Plot depose, I guess. A coup would currently be considered justified. There we go. So, sorry, it is a plot, and the coup is currently considered justified. Good. Now comes the tricky part of gaining support. Confess my love. You bitch, you broke my heart. I will depose you. Aw, you hate me, because infidel. Fair enough. Yeah, gathering support for the coup, however, not exactly easy. You could be convinced with a bag of gold, huh? Sure thing. Welcome aboard. Anyone else? Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it. Ignore. Blood power 126. Send the ultimatum. Issue the ultimatum. Confirm. Never. Even if you tear the core witch on asunder, you'll never be able to do as much as damage my people with your missiles as you could with my title. You and your followers are traitors and will be dealt with as such. So, unfortunately, our coup was unsuccessful, it seems. Alright. Any war enemy? Never. I'll take that as... didn't go so well, huh? Are we at war with... I don't even know what's going on anymore. I think I bugged the game out. Side note, don't use Coups, because bugs the shit out of the game, it would appear. Alright, Calvin, what are the kingdoms? As a space pirate, can you burn down holdings by raiding them? Yes. It works exactly the same as raiding does in CK2 normally. Can you still destroy holdings this way? Yes. You could, in theory, burn down Earth. Just as you could burn Constantinople to the ground if you're that much of a jackass. Yes, Calvin, what are the kingdom titles? Since when do Coups involve asking nicely? Well, to be fair here, I don't know. Okay, so people want to see the kingdoms, de jure regions. So let's start at the top left area. We have K Witchhead Nebula. New Frontier. Avalon. Tarka. The Veil Nebula. Mukta Dunya. Al Samawat. Zenye Nyota Aganani. The Frontier. Terran Commonwealth. Tierra Celeste. Zingji. Strugatsky. Helix Nebula. Novi Edem. Zinziku. My best guess. The Flame Nebula. The Orion Nebula. The Horsehead Nebula. The Orion Reach. Parasio. That's where the religious people go. And that's the general list of kingdoms. I'm not going to go over the duchies. De jure empire, we have the Terran Confederation. And nothing else. Alright. Outside of that, yeah. How do empires work? There's one empire. Clones to marry. Is that incest? Well, I suppose if you're gay and you clone yourself and your clone's gay, yeah, you might be able to marry your clone. I don't know. Actually, no. I believe your clone is considered your child, so you can't. There might be a Zoroastrian-style religion, though, in the game. I'm not certain. Might be some religions, there's some political ideologies that allow you to marry your children. So that's a possibility. Any other questions? Any other questions? If I remember right, any kingdom that controls 2 or 3 kingdoms can form their own empire through an event. That is possible. I haven't gotten far enough into playing the game to know that for certain. So you might have the ability to form additional empires beyond the Terran Confederation later. Any final closing questions from the Twitch chat? I'll answer any that I can. The religions, Calebin, give map mode. Fine, I thought I already went over all of this, but there you go. You can see it one last time. Pretty certain I went over it. Yeah, I did. So, there you go. When does it get on Steam? I don't know. Is Game of Thrones on Steam? No, I don't think so. Are there aliens? No. This is entirely humanity. We didn't find any aliens yet in our space exploration. Is there an amphibious landing? Yes. Similarly to in CK2, if you happen to get off a boat onto things, then you will end up, you know... you will end up getting the amphibious landing penalty. Similar to pretty much everything. We discussed this before in the combat tutorial with how boats work, so yeah. Is there an Earth? Yes. Alright, well that's enough questions from the Twitch chat. There's repetitive stuff that I've already gone over. So with that, thank you everybody for watching. As always, this has been your lovely host, Calvin, signing off.